Okay, let's pick up where we left off. Whoa, 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 whoa!
Nathan, she kept her driver's side door open while she's yelling at you. And then you hit the driver's side door.
Carlos. Infraction, dude. Where do your phones go? As soon as you walk in the room.
Yeah, in the phone jail.
In the phone jail. I know. Don't let it happen again.
That's why I came with the fellas.
Are you ready? Okay.
Oh, yeah?
So we're picking up where we left off, which is this D. Same kind of problem as we just did, only now it says I have to be perpendicular. Okay, so remember, the directions are write the point, slope, form of the line. So we have our point, and we have this line, but we want to be perpendicular to it now. So opposite reciprocal slope. The slopes are opposite reciprocal. So you flip it over and make it, and change its sign. So first we're going to find the slope of this line, and how did we say we were going to do that? We're going to get y by itself, so we'll subtract 2x, and then divide by -6. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
So what's the slope here? 1/3. 1/3? So what will my perpendicular slope be? -3. So y minus 7 equals -3 x plus 3. And that's it. So review ideas, parallel means same slope, and perpendicular means opposite reciprocal slopes. Okay, so that's not bad. All right, number 4. We're doing exactly what we just did, only now we want the slope-intercept form. Now, what does that look like? So that means that your answer has to have y equals. So I didn't write this one down, but this would be the slope-intercept form of that line, right? Okay, I just need y equals. Now all of you are smart, you've all done this before, so you all have your own ways of doing it. And it's perfectly okay. I just need your answer to look like this. Me personally, I point slope everything. I think point slope is so easy. That's how I do every problem. Every time someone says write the equation of a line, I point slope. So I'm going to start by saying y minus 8 equals 6 times x plus 5. Now you might not do it this way, but would you agree I'm okay? I'm okay? Now, this is point slope. I need slope intercept. So all I'm going to do now is a little bit of arithmetic here and get y by itself. So I'll distribute and adding. And that's my slope-intercept form. Now some of you are going to do that differently, and I am so okay with that. Do it however you want, but this better be your answer. Okay? When you're my age, you got so much stuff in your brain, I try to minimize, so I do all my lines the same way, and then just rewrite them in whatever form I'm supposed to have. That's how I do it. Alright, so go ahead, somehow do B. See if you can do B. Oops. What's going to be the first thing you're going to do with B? Gotta find the slope. Gotta find the slope. Yeah. So go ahead and do B, but no matter how you do it, you need the slope. So you're going to have to do that first. at lunch, that's Lexi, anybody see her at lunch? I have to figure out how to do this. I gotta text. This is what I got. Is this what you got?
Yeah.
Now, this one was especially easy because first I found my slope. Now tell me about this point right here. What is that? That's your y-intercept, isn't it? So that is B. And since I knew I was shooting for y equals mx plus b, once I found m, they gave me b, I could just write my equation. I didn't really need to do any work. Did anybody actually do work and get the same answer? Of course you did, yeah. All right, we okay with that one? All right. I'm gonna write the equation of the line parallel to this one and through this point. Okay, what do I need? Slope, got it? Parallel means same one. So you do your way, I'll do my way, and we'll see if we come up with the same answer. Is it?
Yeah. Oh, I did.
Wait, did I copy it wrong? Okay, so the slope is 2/3, so I'm using 2/3. And 2/3 times 4/1, remember how we multiply, top times top, bottom times bottom.
Oh, no, it's not.
Then I had to subtract 2, which is 6/3. No, I think I'm right.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Everybody okay? Oh, shoot. Just texted because I was worried about you.
Sorry, I was talking to Mr. and you said I lost
Now, Mr. Freach is putting out an all call for you. Okay, all right, next. One more line, and then we're ready to do a couple word problems. Yep.
Wait, so for the -4, will that always be positive some way?
Well, remember, point slope form is this. So it's always
Oh, yeah.
subtracting. So if you're subtracting negative, yeah, the form is a subtraction. All right, last one. You want to be perpendicular to this guy and contain the point 1, 2, and we want to be in slope-intercept form when we are done. So y minus 2 equals, oh shoot, what do I need? Slope. How am I going to find my slope? Get the y by itself. So somewhere here over to the side, I'm going to get y by itself. So getting y by itself, what is the slope of this line? Positive 1/2. Would everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
is a perpendicular problem, so I won't use 1/2, I will use -2. So y minus 2 equals -2, that's my slope, x minus 1. If the directions had said point slope, I'm done. They don't, so I'm going to distribute and add 2. That's what I got. Is that what you got? Caitlin, what's the matter?
Oh, no.
You sure?
Yeah, I just had one.
Alright, we good, everybody? Alright, let's take a look at this next. What in the world? Oh, no. It's a word problem. Lordy, we're gonna have to read. Alright, so here we go. Bob purchased a house 8 years ago for $42,000. This year, it was appraised at 67. Every time we read or have any kind of a situation, we want to try to organize the info. So they told me that 8 years ago he bought this house, and now it's worth for that amount, now it's worth this amount. I want you to look at those two ordered pairs and tell me if they make sense to you. What does this 0 stand for? The beginning of time for this problem, right? This is what he initially paid. This was his initial payment. What does that 8 stand for?
8 years.
It's now 8 years later,
Yeah.
and it's now worth this much. So I have 2 points, and the directions to the problem say a linear function. So I am going to write the equation of the line through those 2 points. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so what do I need to do? I need to find the slope. These are big numbers. Go ahead and pull those calculators out if you want. If you need to, you might not even need to, but I do. My day is getting better, thanks to you people, but it started out horribly. My power school wouldn't work. And I have all these papers, I graded all this homework, and I had to put the grades in, and I couldn't, because I couldn't get my power school. Did anybody else get this? Is that okay? Now, notice, what point is this? What's 42,000?
Why?
It's a y value, but look, if it's paired up with a 0 like that, that is your y-intercept. So if you want to go ahead and do the work, you can, but isn't that b? And this is m? So I can just say y equals 3187.5x plus 42,000. Now you're looking at problem 45a, and you are saying, wow, this looks terrible. Well, I've used y and x, because that's what I'm used to. What are they using? They're using v and t. And that makes sense, because in my ordered pairs, wasn't this number time? And this number was value? So that's why they're using t and v, but it's no different than writing the equation of a line like you always do. So m, b. Let's not graph it right now. Let's write and solve an equation algebraically to determine how many years after purchase this house will be worth $74,000. Okay, so here's my equation, or here, whichever. What am I gonna do if I wanna know when it will be worth 74,000?
Plug it in,
Plug what in?
the number to Y.
Plug 74,000 in for Y. Why am I putting it into Y? Because it's a value, right? It's money. So 74,000 equals 3187.5T plus 42,000. I got, did you get about 10 years?
Yeah.
Does it say how
Estimate.
many years after purchase? So it'll be a little more than 10. I'll say slightly more than 10 years. Is that okay with everybody? All right, do D, it's the same kind of thing, see if you can figure out D. Would you agree it's the same problem? Just putting in a different number? Don't sit there and wait for somebody else to do it. Jump in. Who got an answer? Anybody? 12 years? 12 years? So you did exactly what we did here, but you put that other number here. You put 80,250 here. Consolidated, and it worked out to be exactly 12 years. Remember, in a word problem, we label our answer. All right, everybody good on that one? That wasn't so bad. Looks scary, easy. All right, let's look at 46. Mary Ellen plans to invest $18,000 in 2 different accounts, it looks like. So she's got something that pays 5% and something that pays 8%. And she has $18,000 total. So it's getting split up into these 2 accounts. What are the possible values of X? Okay, now they tell me that X is this. So what are the possible values of X? What's the smallest X could be? Now remember, she's got $18,000. She's gonna split it up into 2 chunks. I'll call this one X and this one Y, just for the sake of it. I'm gonna fix that in a minute. To these 2 different accounts. X is the amount that's in the 5%. So tell me about X. Can X be negative 74? Why not? It's money, right? Just $18,000. There's no negative money, right? So whatever X is, the smallest it can be is 0. She could put nothing here and all of it over here. Okay, so this is the smallest it can be. What's the biggest it can be? If she put it all in there. So your X's are between 0 and 18,000. Would you agree with that? You just found the domain. That's the domain. Domain is the possible X values. Whatever X is, it's somewhere between 0 and 18,000. Okay, so that is A. If Mary Ellen invests X dollars at 5%, write an equation that describes the total interest from both accounts at the end of 1 year. Okay. First things first. Don't use Y. Don't use a different letter. Use just X. If X, that was 18,000. If X is the amount in this pot, how much will be in this pot? Don't say Y. We need to keep all X's, only X's. What? The leftover, which would be expressed how? 18,000 minus X. That's the leftover. The leftover's exactly right, that's the leftover. If she puts 2,000 here, wouldn't that leave 16,000 for here? All right. Now I need to write an equation for interest. Anybody know anything about interest?
Parentheses 1 plus.
Oh. I can't believe you can remember that, but you don't need to write this down. He's doing compound interest. That's the formula for compound interest. This is simple interest. Simple interest is I equals PRT. Simple interest. Don't say what? You learn that in Algebra 1. Interest equals PRT. Principal times rate times time. Now, this is compound interest. This is more sophisticated. This is simple interest right here. Okay? Now, it tells me in the problem that T is 1 year. So T is 1. So let's look at this account. The principal is X. The interest rate is 0.05 and the time is 1. So this is the interest on this part. What would the interest be on this part? Because I want the total, I added them together. So what would the interest be on this part? Okay, so the rate is 0.08. What's the P? 18,000 minus X. And the time is 1. Since she's got her money in 2 accounts, we calculate the interest separately for each account and then just add it up. That makes sense? Okay, so let's clean this up. It says, write an equation, so I want to clean this up. So this is just 0.05x, right? What's this one?
1440.
This is 1440. Okay, I hope I can trust you. Minus 0.08x. So my cleaned up equation, just combine my terms. My equation is negative 0.03x plus 1440, is that right? Y equals mx plus b. Let's not graph and trace. Let's do problem C, but let's do it by hand. We don't have time to get the calculators out. So we're going to estimate how much Mary Ellen invested at 5% if she earned $1,020 in total interest. We're going to do this by hand. We can use our calculator for arithmetic, but we're not going to graph it. How would we do this algebraically? Plug what in?
1 1020
for Y, or I or Y, whatever, over here, right? So 1020 equals negative 0.03x plus 1440. Is everybody on board? You know why we're plugging it in there? That's dollars, that's your interest. So we'll subtract 1440. And divide by negative 0.03. So X turned out to be, if I did it right, 14,000. And then the other, it didn't ask, but the other one then would be 4,000. Does that make sense to you? Quick little economics lesson. If I got one account that pays 8% and one account that pays 5%, would there ever be a circumstance where I just wouldn't put it all in the 8%? I mean, that's a bigger interest. Can you think of a situation? Usually, as the interest rate goes up, so does the risk of the investment. Do you know what I mean by risk? Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes you're wise to keep some in a lower one because that's more safe. All right, one more and we're done for the day. A commercial jet airplane climbs at takeoff with a slope of 3/8. How far in the horizontal direction will the airplane fly to reach an altitude of 12,000 feet above the takeoff point? Here's the airplane. It's taking off and flying. I want him to be 12,000 feet above the ground. I know that the slope of this line is 3/8. Would you agree with that? And didn't the plane start on the ground? So that's 0. Y-intercept is 0. So my equation is simply y equals 3/8 x plus 0. And so I'm going to plug in 12,000 for what? For y. Exactly. 12,000 equals 3/8 x. How do I solve that? Multiply by 8/3. So 12,000 times 8 divided by 3. I think he's 32,000 feet above the ground. I have dollar signs on this. Woo! We are good. There we go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. What happens tomorrow? You're going to sign up for Athlete and we're going to have a quiz. P4 is Is it today? And we're not quite done with P4, so no new assignment. No new assignment.
Which one is it?
You're welcome.